Okay, 1.7 is about algebraic expressions. Okay. So we talked about this a little bit and like the key words for adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. So what we're going to do is we're going to translate things from words to numbers and then do some evaluating using order of operations. So what we have to be careful of is the wording, because something like this, when I write 3 times the difference of 5 and 2, okay, so something like that, it says 3 times, but then when it says the difference, we are subtracting 5 and 2. But notice that I had to put parentheses in there because it's 3 times all of what's being subtracted. Whereas if I said something like 3 times 5 minus 2, okay, now I'm not doing the quantity, I'm doing 3 times 5 minus 2. And it really affects my order of operations here. So we have to really pay attention to our wording and if it's a quantity or if I'm just writing it as is. Okay, so let's do a couple examples of those and then we'll do some evaluating. So we are going to translate using numbers and symbols. Okay, so for example, if I said 2 times x plus 7, or if I said 2 times the sum of x and 7. Okay, so for A, I'm going to do 2 times x plus 7. So I can also write it without the multiplication, or without the symbol. Whereas B, it says 2 times the sum, so I need to add these things together before I times it by 2. Okay? Or I could write this without the multiplication, like so. Okay? Alright, so we just have to be really careful on our wording there. Okay, so now I'm going to get into some the evaluating piece of this. Okay, so we are going to evaluate. So we're going to evaluate this for A equals 9. Okay, so remember with evaluate, they're telling you what A is, and so I'm going to substitute it in here. So I've got 2 times A, but A is 9, plus 3 over 7. Okay, so I got to figure out what this is before I can divide by 7. So order of operations says the parentheses, which, I mean, I'm doing. There's no exponents, so then multiply. So that's 18, and then plus 3. So all that's left here is the 18 plus 3, which is 21, and then I'm going to divide by 7, which is 3. Okay. Okay, let me give you one to try. So why don't you try this one? Okay, so why don't you substitute that in, give it a try, and then pause the video, and we can check your answer in a second. Okay, so 6 times 3 plus 7. So order of operations, I'm going to do this, so that's 18 plus 7 over 5. So that's 25 over 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Okay. Alright. So, last thing in this section that we're going to do is using what's called the distributive property. So those expressions that we were writing that had parentheses in them, for example, if I had this, okay, so 4 times the sum of a number and 7, this is saying that I would multiply 4 by this whole quantity. So if I expanded this, I would write n plus 7 plus n plus 7 plus n plus 7 plus n plus 7, right? So this is all addition, so I can add, remember? So remember combining like terms, so all these n's are like terms. So you can notice I have 4 n's, and then I have 4 7's, so that's the same as 4 times 7. Okay. This is what's called the distributive property. And what it says is basically when you have a number outside parentheses, you can distribute that number to the inside. So I would take 4 times n, which I get 4n, and then I would take 4 times 7, which then I would get 28. Okay, so we're going to practice this property a little bit. Okay, so let's get an example here. Hold on, I forgot the number I'm on. 3. Alright, so example 3, we're going to distribute. So, for example, if I had this, I'm going to take 3 times everything in my parentheses. So 3 times x is 3x, and then 3 times 2, and I keep the minus, is 6, and that is distributing. So I could write the x minus 2 3 times, combine like terms if I wanted to, or I can distribute. Let me try another one. Now if I had something like this, okay, notice that 4 is not in the parentheses, so when I distribute, I'm only distributing to what's in parentheses. So 2 times y is 2y, 2 times 1 is 2, don't forget the plus, and then I just keep the 4 because it's not in parentheses. You're only multiplying by what's in parentheses. But I do have like terms here, so remember last time we talked about combining things that can go together, like terms. So in this case, 2 plus 4 is 6, so I can combine my like terms. Okay, let me give you 2 to try here. Okay, so why don't you give these two a try, and pause the video so that you can check your answers and try doing it on your own. Okay, so I've got 5 times x, 5 times 4, keep the minus, and then here 3 times x, 3 times 4, and then I keep the minus 2, so then these can go together, and I end up with 10. Okay, alright, so that is 1.7. So I would suggest in this section completing problems 9 through 27 odds and 43 through 49 odds. Okay, and then go watch the video for 1.8.